I've spent 17 years in the financial industry, and in those years, I've never missed a deadline at work. Not one. Interviews, presentations, deliverables in front of VPs, some of them in audiences of hundreds. And in the 6 years that my wife and I have been married, every time I came home from one of those events, she'd always ask me the same question. So, how did you do? I'd smirk and tell her, I smashed it. She'd smirk right back at me and say, I knew it. 6 years, same exchange, same answer. I never broke it. But for the 3 years before this video existed, for the most important deadline of my life, the one that I set for myself, I missed every single day. This is the story of why. I'm 36, I've been in the financial industry for 17 years across multiple roles. I'm a father of 2, a husband, and underneath it all, a man of faith. And for 3 years, I told myself a lie that kept me from the life I actually wanted to build. This channel exists because I finally stopped telling myself that lie. If any of that sounds familiar, if you've been planning more than building, dreaming more than doing, stay with me. I'm going to walk you through the 3 things that broke that cycle for me. Let me bring you back to April 10th, 2023. That's the day that I bought my first piece of equipment. A real camera, a C-stand, a key light, a microphone. All the things the algorithm tells you need before you can start. I was watching Think Media at the time, their call to action echoing in my head over and over again. Just press record. It was the simplest advice, and I ignored it over and over again. Instead, I told myself I needed to learn more, watch more, buy more, plan more. Every new piece of gear felt like progress. Every new creator that I discovered gave me something new to perfect and study. I set the bar so high that no first video could clear it. I expected my first video to look like the work of somebody who'd been making videos for 10 years. I gave myself no runway, no room to be bad, no room to learn, no room to grow. I wanted to fly before I crawled. If that sounds like perfectionism, it's not. It's hiding. The truth, the part that I didn't want to admit to myself, is that I was afraid of being judged. Not by strangers, by people I know. Friends, coworkers, acquaintances, people from my past. That froze me. And as the months went on, the lie evolved. It took on a new voice, one that sounded more responsible. I can only succeed if I go all in, I told myself, and I can't possibly go all in. I have a family to support, I have bills to pay, a mortgage that I want to finish. I'll start when the house is paid off. 3 years and nothing to show for it. So, back to that streak. The issue wasn't capability. You see, I'd been delivering for the past 17 years. The issue was who I was delivering for. When I made a promise to my employer, I kept it. When I made a promise to a client, I kept it. When I made a promise to myself, I had nothing to enforce it. And then one day it hit me. I am losing more from fear of failure than I will ever lose from failure itself. And once it did, I couldn't go back. I couldn't shake that feeling any longer. That's the premise of this entire channel. But naming the lie didn't break it. 3 forces did. I'm going to walk you through each. The first force is faith. You see, I believe we are made in the image of our Creator. I sat with that one for a long time, because if I am made by my Creator in His image, then creating is not optional. It's not a hobby, it's not a side hustle, it's how I was built. And hiding from it isn't humility, it's refusing to use what I was given. Around the time I was wrestling with that, God put a man in my path, a colleague. We hadn't known each other long, but in that short period of time, I felt a pull. The energy was right. We started having conversations. We clicked instantly. Values, beliefs, aspirations. And then one day he said something to me that really hit home. The 9 to 5 is where creativity goes to die. Now, I've been in the financial industry for 17 years. 9 to 5 is the norm. It's been part of my DNA. But the moment he said that, I knew it was true. Every day in the office, a small piece of what God has given me was being put to sleep. Then, I watched this man do something that I hadn't been able to do. He left the industry, started his own business. Within 6 to 8 months, he was flying internationally to film content, signing contracts, building the life he wanted all along. He he took the leap. I was still talking. That's when I realized God doesn't put someone like that in your path by accident. The signal was there. I just hadn't been listening. The second force was integrity. You see, I told people about my plan. Not to brag, but to create accountability. I told my closest friends, I told my wife. And recently, one of those friends, a friend I respect to the bone, a doer who gets things done, asked me how the channel was going. I had to swallow my pride and tell him that I hadn't started. That was hard. Telling someone whose stock you don't want to lose that you've been all talk for 3 years. But the harder thing, the thing that actually moved me, was thinking about my wife. Since the day we got married, she's believed in me without flinching. And I realized I didn't want her to ever think, even for a second, that I was the kind of man who said things and didn't do them. A man who tells his wife that he's going to do something and doesn't, that man is a different man than the one that I want to be. A man's word has to mean something, especially to the woman who hears him say it the most. The third force was building something that wouldn't let me lie to myself anymore. I built a system that analyzed my life with the same rigor I bring to my clients' files at work. A mirror of sorts. I built it to ask me the questions I'd been avoiding and forced myself to answer them. What it showed me wasn't new. It was just named. There was a 3-year inaction pattern. Every delay had a different excuse, but every excuse served the same purpose, protecting me from the possibility of public failure. Once it was named, I couldn't unsee it. You see, you can't outrun a pattern you refuse to look at, but the moment you name it, it loses its power. If there's one thing I'd suggest to anyone watching this video, find your mirror. Build it, hire it, ask for it, whatever it takes. You don't need a guru. You need a system that won't let you keep pretending. Today is 1,190 days since I bought the camera. This video, the one you're watching, exists because I finally pressed record. That's the whole story. No course, no mastermind, just a man with a camera he'd been afraid of, finally turning it on. So, back to the script my wife and I have been running for the past 6 years. For the first time in 3 years, I have an answer about something I built for myself. I'm doing it, and I already know what she'll say back. One last thing, and this is the only thing I'm going to ask you to take away from this video. You can use it anywhere in your own life that's got you stuck. People will judge you regardless, so you might as well do what you wanted to do in the first place. If you're somewhere inside your own version of this story, subscribe and stick around. I'm rebuilding out loud every week. Discipline, wealth, legacy. I'll see you in the next one.